business from the female perspective and giving you the tools to empower you on your journey. So now, let's get ready to be empowered on Babes in Business. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Babes in Business. I am your host, your head babe in charge, Michelle Dempsey, from Michelle Dempsey, Very Well Written. I'm very excited. I was not on the air last week. I had to take a break. I was moving, which was, as you probably could imagine, a lot of work. We had replayed the show from the beginning of January with the women from the Fit Shop. We loved you, Kaiza and Adrian. And good news, I'll be seeing you Friday. I'm finally coming to take a class. So we're so glad we were able to replay that show for you guys. Another thing I want to bring up, which I've actually been looking forward to for, I don't know, I guess a year now. Tomorrow is International Women's Day. This is extremely significant for me, not only because of the work that I do, but because I'll be speaking to the girls at West Broward High School. West Broward High School tomorrow as part of the Women of Tomorrow organization. They've been gracious enough to invite me to speak. And before we do anything else tonight, I want to share a quote very pertinent to women by one of my favorite people, Maya Angelou. "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." And as women, I know that we're all trying to find that balance all the time. Girl, you got it. But tonight, it's about another doctor we have on our show this evening. She's phenomenally brilliant. I love her. I'm so glad she's here. We've been trying to get her here forever. Dr. Tara, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Why don't you give us the goods? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, I'm so happy to be here. It feels like it's been months in the making.
Months in the making.
Months in the making. I am a licensed clinical psychologist. I practice in downtown Fort Lauderdale. I specialize in treating anxiety disorders and OCD. I work mostly with children and adolescents, and I also work with parents and help them address some behavior issues for their children.
That's incredible. How long have you been doing this?
So I've been in private practice in Fort Lauderdale 2 years, and I've been practicing about 6 years now.
Private practice, what is the name of your...
Sure. So the practice name is South Florida Psychological Group. Like I said, we're located in downtown Fort Lauderdale. You can visit our website at sfpg.org. So that's sfpg.org, or shoot me an email at drzuckerman@sfpg.org.
And this is, you know what, this is a great... I have a 2-year-old.
Right.
And she's starting to present these behaviors where you're like, I don't know, is this just 2-year-old behavior, or do I need to be worried? So I always find it fascinating to speak to people who work in your industry, because there's so much I don't know and there's so much we can learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you are really passionate about working with children. Is that why you went into psychology to begin with?
It is, yeah. I've always loved children. I've always loved, being with them, playing with them. Started as like camp counseling and all that stuff. And I just really love working with them. And I also feel like, in today's day and age, children don't always have a voice or a choice. And I think helping to empower them to develop their inner voice, and then also to help parents support them in finding their voices is something I'm really passionate about.
I'm passionate about helping other people find their voice too. I think there's such, like you said, in today's society, we're kind of bound to what's expected of us, or what we think is the right thing to do. And for children, it's that much more intense because there's so many more rules, and your parents and your teachers. So I think that's incredible that you're helping the littlest of people become independent little creatures. So tell me a little bit about what it's like, day to day. What ages of children are you seeing? Are you seeing them with their parents?
Sure. So I see a whole, a wide variety of people and of children and families. So I see children as young as 5, and I see all the way up to young adults, really, in their 20s or early 30s. The children who are elementary age, I tend to see with their parents, because a lot of times I need their parents' help to support kind of the interventions that I'm putting in place.
Right.
Or helping the parents put interventions in place in the home, or speaking with school staff, coaches, teachers, whoever can really help. A lot of times I'm working with, anxiety. Kids are afraid of things. They're either afraid of going to school, of, separating from a caregiver or parent, and that can be really difficult. A lot of times parents will come in and, I have to keep driving around carpool lane. How do I get them out of the car to go to school? It's really a problem.
That reminds me of my own childhood. Mommy, if you're listening, thanks for being so patient. I had terrible separation anxiety. Terrible. Like, I was 3 years old, and we had a home in Vermont, and she would drop me off at ski school, and they would have to page her on the mountain. Does that come from something, or is that just innate wiring?
It depends. It's kind of that good old nature nurture debate, right? So we see some children who it might, some anxiety might be passed down. And then we also see it where maybe it's a learned behavior or, one time they were nervous or scared and somehow, some way that behavior got reinforced. Like ski school called your mom and she came to get you. And so you knew every time you wanted to leave ski school, what'd you have to do?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it's kind of hard because it's hard to discern, really how it started or their origination, but we really address it the same way.
It's anxiety is something that fascinates me. I used to be in education. I was a teacher, and you can always pick out the children who were more anxious than others. And maybe I was more sensitive to it being an anxious woman myself. I don't keep that a secret. You guys, we're very transparent here. But
right.
It's just amazing to me how, as I went through my teaching career, I would see it earlier and earlier. Do you feel that things like this are starting earlier?
I do. And I think that, the internet's a great resource. I mean, we all Google everything.
Right.
But it can also be really impairing because I think children are having access to things to look up. Parents are, my child did X, Y, and Z, what are they afraid of or what are they doing? And so I think, I'm not blaming the internet, but I think that because we just have so much access to so many things now that we're seeing a lot of this stuff earlier and earlier.
Oh, for sure.
And I think parents are more aware too. They know oh, my child displayed XYZ behavior. Let me find out what it is. They're anxious, you know?
Right. And speaking of the internet, Dr. Goldfinger was here, and she mentioned a little bit about how social media is really driving all of these negative feelings and behaviors and suicidal thoughts and eating disorders. Yeah. That scares me because you and I are the same age.
Right.
I think we were in like 11th or 12th grade when we got like instant messenger.
I don't even know if it was I think we might have been older. I don't know, maybe.
I don't know, but I mean, what the worst happens is like you message someone, you got an instant message or
right, it like popped up like on AOL or whatever. Or something.
Yeah.
Right.
But now, even as an adult woman, I scroll through Instagram sometimes and I'm like, I can't believe there's a teenage girl who's like 13 with 7 million followers who's taking pictures that like I was 13 wearing leggings and a t-shirt. Like I didn't know from this. So it is very scary. And I think it's so important that you're there to put in place a sense of calm, I would assume.
Yeah. And I also think that, I talk a lot with parents about like internet safety rules and just like general rules of thumb to teach their children. Tech is huge, right? We're all on our tech phones, iPads, whatever it may be. And I think also regulating that time is also really important because the less time that children have access to it, the less they can be influenced by it.
Right.
And that's hard because we're all so attached, myself included, to phones, TVs, computers.
I have like carpal tunnel in my thumb, you guys. Like
I'm sure we're going to see a huge surgence of that in
really?
our generation.
I saw something actually about how like our pinky thumbs are like our pinky thumbs, our pinky fingers are now evolving from the way we hold the phone, right? And I feel it like at night before I go to bed, and it's just, but it's the nature of the beast. All of my business is done on the computer through my phone, and even my 2-year-old knows how to swipe open my phone.
I think I'm convinced that like babies are born knowing how to like swipe right and left. I swear, I do.
My daughter can swipe.
They know.
Good job, Bella.
Right.
Really proud of you. If you have questions tonight for us, you can give us a call, 888-585-1470, or you can call Dr. Tara anytime with the number on the screen. I want to talk more about, sort of your transition into private practice because, for a lot of us women, going into business for ourselves is like the ultimate dream.
Absolutely.
It's scary. It takes a lot of work. You have to have a lot of guts. Good quote I posted the other day is that sometimes it takes balls to be a woman, and especially to be a woman in business.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what that was like for you. How did you make the decision?
I definitely didn't make it completely independently. I had a lot of support from my family, my husband really kind of pushing me to kind of move forward with it. It's something I always talked about. I always knew that it was something I wanted, but wasn't sure how or when I was going to do it. And it just sort of evolved over time. I felt like I had put my time in and I'd really learned a lot, been in a lot of different environments, saw what I liked, what I didn't like, what I wanted to do, what I didn't want to do. And I really just kind of took the leap. And it is scary. it's still scary sometimes. You're the boss. It's you and only.
Right. And it's like one day you have all these clients and you feel like, all right, I've got this. And then you always worry what happens when the other shoe drops.
And I think that that's just really normal. I think that it's normal for anybody starting any sort of business, you, me, anybody. I think that just surrounding yourself with supportive, empowering people like yourself, right? Like,
thank you.
I mean, you've been super supportive. But I think that just being clear about what it is that you want to do and being open to the learning curve in the process. Because as you know, with starting a business, things change and evolve over time. You have in your head, it's going to look like this. And
I'm doing today what I definitely didn't. I just wanted to write things. I didn't realize you sort of start something, right? And you tap into all these other things that you're good at or that may go along with what you thought you wanted to do or maybe not. And yeah, for sure. A year ago, I just thought I'd continue writing blogs for people. I didn't realize I was going to turn into a full-service branding agency, happy to help.
Nice little plug.
Yeah.
But I also think like having mentors and support, both within the profession and outside. I think that, I've been really fortunate to find like-minded professionals in my field who are really supportive and who are really there and really are peer-to-peer consultants. And I think that that's so invaluable.
Going back to the whole women's thing, International Women's Day, like we met through networking.
We did.
You and I met at a Fem City event.
We did. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which one.
It was like 6 months. The hurricane.
The hurricane one. It was the day before Hurricane, whatever.
That didn't come.
Hurricane Matthew that never came.
Right.
And I was speaking and you were there. And you were, and I remember meeting you. And it's the stuff like that for me. And I know you feel the same way, that it's, it gives you the, not the sense of empowerment, but the courage. You see other women doing it.
Absolutely.
For me, I speak to other moms who are trying to find the balance. For you, it's probably other people trying to get clients, and I think that whole sisterhood we're so lucky to have.
We really are.
Hey, ProFems, shout out to you guys. If you guys didn't know, I've started my own female networking group. Love all the other ones I've been to. Started my own with my business partner, Melinda Grimaldi. You can learn more on profems.com. We're going to go to break in just a second. Tara, we're so happy you're here. Can you tell everybody one more time where they can find you?
Sure, absolutely. You can give me a call at 954-406-1366, or you can visit my website, www.sfpg.org, or shoot me an email. You can find that on the website as well.
I'd give you all my information, but I'm just going to tell you to look it up on michelledempsey.com. I have a content marketing and branding business. Happy to help you with anything you need in the way of words, ideas, or boosting your brand. We'll be back after the break. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you for listening to Babes in Business. I am your number one babe in business, your host, Michelle Dempsey of Very Well Written, the business I founded to help other entrepreneurs get their businesses off the ground with great content, strategy, branding, social media, editing, and anything in the way of words. I've got you covered, www.michelledempsey.com, or you can call me at 305-469-7500. Don't forget to tune in every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock to join me and a fellow babe in business talk all things business. Can't wait to see you there. Are you feeling empowered to be a babe in business? Just when you thought you had all the secrets, I'm getting ready to share some more. We'll see you there on Babes in Business. We're back. Thanks for joining us again. I am your host, Michelle Dempsey. I'm here with Tara, the amazing doctor serving the Fort Lauderdale area, and I'm assuming other parts of South Florida as well.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit before the break about your areas of expertise. You're working with children, primarily children with anxiety and OCD.
Yes.
What types of OCD behaviors are you seeing, by the way?
Sure. So I think there's a big misconception that obsessive compulsive disorder is really just ritualized hand washing or cleanliness.
Right.
And there's really so many other symptoms. Obsessions can really be about anything. They can be intrusive or troublesome thoughts about characters that you just kind of can't get rid of the thoughts. It can be about, harm coming to a loved one. A lot of times we do see with children, kind of hygienic obsessions and doing things. And so there is some individuals with cleanliness-based obsessions and compulsions, but we really see it all.
Wow.
We really do, yeah.
And at what age are you seeing that begin?
I would say that I've seen and worked with families with children as young as 3 years old that are starting to display those symptoms. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You really, that's incredible. So you're working obviously with children. You have to be working alongside their parents. Are the
Absolutely.
parents joining you in the sessions? How does that work?
Sure. So that's a good question. A lot of parents ask me that. So it really depends on what we're working on. So if we're working on an intervention, a lot of times when a child's young, I will have parents join in so they can see what I'm doing and then model it for them so that they know how to kind of follow up and further support it out at home. When children are older, sometimes I do direct just contact with them and then kind of provide mom and dads with support and updates as we go.
Do you do any parent training?
I do. I do a lot of parent training. I do parent training on the interventions themselves, on really just providing education and awareness on, what we're dealing with, how we're addressing it, how it might be manifesting, and giving moms and dads pointers too, because parenting an anxious child is really counterintuitive. So what I mean by that is mom coming to get you, and I'm just going to keep using that example, right? Just kept telling you.
Pull me out of ski school.
Right. Just kept telling you that it's okay. I can just call mom when I'm scared and I don't want to ski, right? And naturally, as a parent who loves their child, you just don't
Mom,
want them to
if
be
you're
scared.
watching, don't be mad.
Don't be mad.
I was 3 at
out of
Stratton
love,
Mountain
right.
in Vermont.
But it's really difficult for parents because it is so counterintuitive. So doing what feels most natural and comfortable to protect your child, to calm their fears, sometimes really is maintaining some of the fears. So I work a lot with parents on really kind of wrapping their minds around that and helping them to kind of shift their parenting paradigm and their approach, which is hard.
That is very hard, but I like that, for me, parenting my daughter and trying to, every day you go to bed, you put your kid to bed and you're like, you have those days where you're like, wow, I'm such an amazing parent. And days where you're like, I am screwing it up and this poor little life is in my hands, because
Right.
she's constantly evolving. I'm constantly learning. So I think it's really great that, any parent can have you on their team.
Of course.
And of course, I would say to any person, you don't necessarily need to present certain behaviors to talk through your issues with
Definitely
somebody.
not.
Are you working with any adults?
I do. I do work with adults. Most of them come in with some form of stress or anxiety.
I'm stressed. I'm anxious.
Here we are.
Let's do it. Yeah.
I do. I work with adults also. Anxiety knows no age, no color, no gender. We're all impacted by it. And, I always say to people when it gets to a point where it's starting to kind of impacting your day-to-day or your functioning, reach out, go talk to somebody about it, because anxiety can be extremely debilitating. And if you let it take over, things can get really difficult.
Absolutely. So. Are there certain things that you see driving patterns with anxiety in adults?
Again, poor technology and the internet. I mean, it really just...
Really?
It reassures people so much. Oh, I have, this red dot on my arm. Let me go look it up. And then it becomes like this repetitive ritualistic pattern of anytime there's something that I'm not sure what it is or it scares me, I can find an answer to it. I also think just the way society is structured, people, like what Dr. Goldfinger had been talking about, social media and people seeing what other people's lives have become or are or aren't can induce, stress and anxiety.
I'll tell you, it really is. I think about teenage girls who wasn't invited to the party or who leaves a nasty I
Right.
can't even imagine what that must be like. We were so lucky to be spared.
We were.
We had enough issues as it was, at that time.
It's true. And a lot of times kids and teenagers, adults too, they'll post something for the likes. How many people will like it? And they'll obsessively check it. Did I get a like? Did someone respond? Did that person like it? And it generates all this excess worry and energy on something that's really probably not that life-changing or important.
Unless you're in business, social media is very important.
Social media is very important.
And Michelle Dempsey should handle it for you.
Yes, she should.
No, but I totally understand. I think that's great. Do you do any sorts of classes or groups?
So I'm not doing classes or groups right now. I have done parenting training groups, or I've done support groups for parents and caregivers, or I've done treatment-based groups for children and adolescents. But currently I don't have any groups right now.
Okay. That's interesting. Maybe we should start one.
Maybe.
I love that. Do you do in-school observations?
I do. I will go to the schools. I'll sit and observe the classroom. I'll work alongside teachers or support staff that are in the schools.
You guys, she's amazing.
Thank you. Anything to really help, right? So it's a wraparound. It's a team. It's not just me.
You are a nurturer. You're like a full-blown, I want to help the world. I love that because I'm the same way.
I get it from my mom. She wants to to nurture and like
My
take
mom
care of
too.
everybody.
My mom's
Yeah.
worried about every single person on the planet all the time. Again, thank you, Mom. But that's a beautiful quality to have because it takes, I know from the type of students I used to teach, you're dealing with a lot and
So much.
there's a lot of stress and there's a lot of other people's problems that you're taking home with you. How do you unplug?
I do. I disconnect. Everyone asks, how do you do it? And I think you just kind of learn. You learn what works for you. Exercise is huge for me.
You're also a spinner.
I'm also a
Shout
spinner.
out to the spinners who come on my show.
Yeah, we like to cycle it out. I do. As an adult, I got much
Cycle
more,
Ward, right?
Cycle Ward. Shout out to Cycle Ward, Jamie and Lisa.
Dr. Goldfinger was on our show, and we found it a little ironic that the psychologists are
go to
the ward. Yeah, that's funny. I gotta go. I'm gonna come there too, you guys.
You need to come. But exercise really helps. That's really my time to zone out. Dr. Goldfinger and I laugh because when I go there, I don't really chat. I'm just there to do my thing.
Yeah, don't talk to me.
Disconnect. I'm also an avid TV watcher.
Shows. Give me some shows.
Oh, I watch all the Bravo junk.
Okay,
all of it.
yeah.
I just really like
Beverly
to kind of
Hills.
just all of it.
Okay.
All the Real Housewives.
Shout out to Erica Jane.
Yeah. All of it. And family and friends. I just like to have fun. I like to just kind of be. When I'm not working, I'm not working, and I think that really kind of comes through in my work because then when I'm there, I'm there.
You're very present.
I am, and when I'm not, I'm not.
You're very balanced, Dr. T.
Well, thank you. I work really hard at it.
I know you do.
It's a work in progress for all of us.
Of course. So, do you have plans to expand to other areas?
Yeah, I think that the game plan is to expand and become more of a group-based practice so that it's not just me, because I'm not for everybody and I don't see and treat everything. So I think that's probably the next phase. And then,
are you interested in other areas that you're not currently focusing on to maybe bring somebody in? What else interests you in the world of psychology?
I definitely think that other people working with more with adults who don't have anxiety-based issues but have other issues is not really my wheelhouse. I think that there's such a need for that. I think that, divorce, transition issues are huge. I also think that there is a huge need for just family therapy. And, somebody who really specializes in the family system.
Right.
Versus where someone like me, I do work with families, but I kind of work with one individual and then I help the rest of the family. I think somebody who can really work in the family system. And then I also think health-based psychology is another area of interest.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
What is that about?
Medical issues that, trigger or, cause some psychological-based issues, how health issues impact psychiatric and mental health. There's a huge kind of growing, budding field of that too. So I think that's really interesting.
Wow. So you're very much just beginning.
I am.
Talk to us a little bit about, so as I mentioned, Tara has so graciously invited me to speak at the West Broward High School for Women of Tomorrow. Yeah. What is the Women of Tomorrow organization all about? How'd you get involved in that? Because that is, I spoke at another one of their things and it's just amazing.
I know, it is. I kind of fell into it. A former boss and colleague had been doing it really since the organization started many years ago, I guess. I don't really know. And it's an organization that mentors young women. And I believe it started in the Tri-County area down here, and I believe it's expanded nationally.
Wow.
And it's a mentorship program. So we go in once a month and we mentor and we speak to a group of women and, we address different topics. Sometimes we'll talk about relationships, we'll talk about communication. I'll do a lot of kind of study strategies and kind of attention based exercises. We've, like I said, we've talked about nutrition. We'll, really kind of whatever their needs are. And I was asked as a guest speaker, you're coming tomorrow to be our guest speaker. And I really just loved it.
That's how I felt in my first,
It was just another way to give back.
Excuse me.
And I loved it.
And you find, for me, I know, because I used to be in the classroom space. So for me, being able to go in and now take the experiences I've had since and, becoming a parent and starting a business and sort of finally using all the challenges in my past and turning it into something else, making that connection then, I think is so meaningful. And I'm not surprised that you're involved, and I'm really excited that I'll be able to come tomorrow on such a meaningful day, International Women's Day. Tara, what does International Women's Day mean to you?
Oh, girl power.
Girl power. We're overusing the girl power these days.
Really
it's like
are. And girl boss.
But I really feel that girl boss, yes. Hashtag. Last year was really such a pivotal time, especially in South Florida. There was such a large movement towards more female networking.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Women in Power Expo at the end of the year. And I feel like we're just, as women in groups, in packs, or like off and running. And this whole support thing, you know, it's like the anti-mean girl movement.
It really is.
It just makes me so happy.
Me too. And I also kind of feel like I just fell into that. Like, I came to that One Femme City like event, and I had been searching for women mentorship and camaraderie, because I think it's just so important to be able to share with somebody what their experience has been, what mine has been, because we get each other as women, you know?
Yes, nobody understands a woman like a woman.
Right, it's true.
And I just have to shout out all of my amazing friends.
Mm-hmm.
I've had quite the week, and everybody's just, you know, there, and it's just, it really is girl power.
It is.
We have another minute. Tell everybody again where we can find you. You have been so informative and amazing. She's brilliant.
Thank you for having me. Sure. Please check out the website. It's www.sfpg.org. My email and phone number are on there, and give me a call.
Yes, if you have children, if you are dealing with anything that just doesn't feel right, this is the girl to call, because obviously if she can't help you, she's going to refer you to somebody who can. We're all going through stuff. It's so important to remember that every day is another day to start fresh. It's another day to pick yourself up off the ground, no matter how you're feeling, and give it another go. You're given the gift of another day every morning, and use it wisely. And if you ever need any help in your business, I'm your girl, Michelle Dempsey, michelledempsey.com, content marketing, brand strategy. If you are looking for an amazing female networking group to join, you can meet me on this Friday at Brio. We are hosting a lunch through ProFems, the organization I started with Melinda Grimaldi. Find us at profems.com. Next week, we have another special guest. I'll be promoting that soon. And of course, it's all about you in business, babe. So keep it smart, keep it sassy, keep it successful, keep being a babe in business, and we'll see you next time. Like they say, all good things must come to an end. But the good news is we'll be back next week with more tips, more secrets, and more strategies to empower you on your business babe journey. Did you like something you heard today, or would you like to join us on the show? Please contact me now at 305-469-7500, or visit me on the web at www.michelledempsey.com. I look forward to connecting with you and helping you become a babe in business.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.